There we are. Voting has now just closed. It's now a matter of time, Boris. The decision has been made. The votes need to be counted, and then we need to be told. And what's the outcome going to be? You know, we can speculate. Of course, we've got an hour to speculate. In the end, I think it's going to come down to one thing, and I don't think the decision is going to be made today. But in the end, the Conservative MPs and the Conservative Party in general is going to have to reflect on something very simple. Can they win the next election? And I think at the moment, with Boris at the helm, they definitely cannot. Has Boris done so much damage that they cannot win at the next election anyway? I think that's actually the answer, but I don't think very many of these people are going to draw that conclusion. There's always hope, I suspect they'll be saying. Are the voters going to turn up to the next election and say, well, I remember Partygate? I think not. People have a very short memory. Are they going to think, well, I remember all the people dying of COVID while Boris and his cronies were partying? I don't think there'll be even that. I don't think that will be the issue either, except in a very, very few cases. I think instead it's going to be something much bigger. And I think no matter how much Boris goes onto the world stage and supports Zelensky, I don't think how much he stands up against Putin, who is another liar. But in the case of Putin, Putin is an evil liar. Boris, I think, is just a little boy out of his depth. Putin is an evil man who knows exactly what he's doing. And he is surrounded by people who are manipulating the truth and doing so with impunity and with malice. Boris, I think, is not particularly malicious. He's just accident-prone and, in the end, rather stupid. No, I think it's going to be very simple. This is what they will remember, the voters, when they come to the next election. They will remember that they cannot trust the Conservative Party. Can they trust the Labour Party? Who knows? It's been a long time since Labour was in power. But they cannot trust the word of a Conservative minister. That is what they will remember. And that is the damage that Boris has personally inflicted on the Conservative Party. And I don't think there's any way to undo that. I don't think any other Prime Minister is going to change that scenario. The election is lost. The only changes that can now happen are that we are carried through into the next election by a reliable leader who has the country's best interests at heart. And I'm not for 1 minute saying that Boris doesn't, but I think someone else might have. And that person is not one of Boris's lads or ministers seated round the table. It's certainly not Priti Patel. It's certainly not Liz Truss. It's certainly not Dominic Raab or Gove or Sunak. I think Jeremy Hunt has been dealt a death blow by Nadine Dorries. Who would have thought it? And I don't think it's her either. I think the leading characters in the present Conservative government are tainted and incapable of any form of rescue. And more than that, when this Conservative government loses the election, there needs to be a reliable opposition in place, and it cannot be led by these people.